Welcome to PQL. In this guide, we'll go over all the basic movement skills you'll need to start playing on the PQL Vamp community server. Let's start with the basic concepts. Your basic movement speed on the ground is 320 units per second. When you jump, you will keep the speed you had on the ground in the air. When in contact with the ground, friction will slow you down. You can negate this friction entirely by continuously jumping. Chain jumps together by pressing your jump key right before you land and releasing it right after. There are two ways of gaining speed while on the ground. When you run into a wall at an angle, your speed along the wall will be higher. This works in any movement direction. At a certain optimal angle, close to 45 degrees, you will cap out at about 500 units per second. This is called wall strafing. When running and turning your mouse, your ground speed will increase. At a certain optimal turning speed, you will cap out at about 500 units per second. This is called circle strafing. Combining this movement with a jump is called a circle jump. When you jump, the direction of your speed will be 45 degrees behind your movement direction. So, to do a forward circle jump, hold forward and a strafe key while turning your mouse in the same direction and jump. Use circle jumping to get an initial speed boost when you start moving. It also becomes possible to cross certain gaps in a single jump. In PQL, we can steer our momentum while keeping our speed in the air. Doing this while continuously jumping to maintain your speed is commonly referred to as bunny hopping. To steer to the right, press the right strafe key and move your mouse to the right. To turn left, press the left strafe key and move your mouse to the left. This works backwards as well. As you can see, air control also gives you a small amount of acceleration. If you turn too fast, you will lose speed. The faster you're going, the slower the maximum turning speed. Here, we are traveling in one direction and looking to the side. If you now press strafe away from the travel direction, you'll cut yourself off to snap your momentum to the looking direction. But you'll lose speed depending on your view angle relative to your travel direction. In some cases, this can be useful to stop in the air, to not fall off an edge. But you're generally trying to avoid this. Align your crosshair with the direction of travel or slightly over, then press strafe and turn the mouse to catch the air control without losing speed. You can also align your momentum with your looking direction by holding forward or backward. Air controlling in this way, however, is less controlled, and your direction of travel will slightly lag behind where you're looking. Holding forward also gives you a small amount of acceleration, up to a maximum of 639 units per second. This is useful when you're in the air with no horizontal speed, for instance on jump pads. When holding backwards, you will also keep any speed you have, but you'll only accelerate up to a maximum of 320 units per second, the same speed when just running on the ground. The main way to gain speed on foot is called strafe jumping. You can strafe jump backwards and even sideways, but for the purposes of this guide, we'll keep it to just going forward. Start off by doing a forward circle jump. Keep holding the forward and strafe keys and keep moving your mouse in the same direction while chaining jumps to retain your speed. There's a moving sweet spot relative to your direction of travel that you'll have to follow with your mouse in order to keep accelerating. As you can see, your direction of travel curves to the side while strafe jumping. To avoid hitting a wall or jumping off a ledge, you'll have to switch sides. Keep holding forward, but switch to holding the opposite strafe key and snap your view angle to the other side's sweet spot, and continue moving your mouse in the other direction. These sweet spots on the left and right that your view angle has to follow are called the acceleration zones. Their angle out to the sides from your direction of travel gets bigger as you keep gaining speed. At slower speeds right after your starting circle jump, the angle changes the quickest and then slows down as you gain more speed. Move your mouse too slowly, and you'll keep dropping outside of this zone as it moves along, and you won't accelerate constantly. It's also good to learn timing your jump inputs well, pressing down just before landing and releasing just after, as I mentioned in the first part of this video, maintaining speed. Holding jump in the air makes your strafe jumping acceleration less efficient. As far as I know, this only has an impact while accelerating with strafe jumping, and has no effect while using strafe key only air control. Moving around the map effectively is just a matter of being able to smoothly transition between strafe jumping and air controlling. Accelerate where you have the space for it, then, once you need to turn a corner, switch to air control. Jumping on ramps, depending on the direction and angle at which you hit them, will convert back and forth between horizontal and vertical speed. Hitting a ramp going upwards, part of your horizontal speed will be converted into vertical momentum. The faster you're going, the higher you will get. Falling onto a ramp will convert vertical speed into horizontal speed. Jumping twice within a short window of time will give you an extra height boost. This is called a double jump. Jumping on edges while traveling upwards stacks the jump velocity on top of your current vertical velocity. There are many different ways to use rockets to move around. I've tried to split this up into a set of distinct techniques, but as you get a feel for it, you will learn to blend these skills together and improvise based on the situation. Generally speaking, you could say there's 3 different types of basic goals when using rockets for movement: optimizing for height, optimizing for horizontal speed, and blending between the two. Starting off on the vertical extreme of techniques, your basic stereotypical rocket jump optimizes for maximum height. Point down at your feet and press jump and fire at the same time. Simple enough. Getting the feel of the timing can take a little bit of practice. At the horizontal extreme of the rocket movement spectrum, we have the wall strafe rocket boost. Start wall strafing by pressing strafe into the wall and looking at the wall. Practice the proper angle so you get around 450 UPS or more. Now fire your rocket and immediately after press jump. We want as little height as possible, so it's important not to point down at all when you press fire. You can even point up slightly. This is because immediately after you get hit by the knockback from an explosion, there'll be a few milliseconds of zero friction with the ground, so you can shoot first and jump within this small window. A well-practiced wall strafing angle gets you about 900 to 950 UPS. This next technique is the most versatile and can give you a wide range of blends between height and horizontal speed. It consists of a backwards diagonal circle jump and a rocket. To perform this circle jump, press a strafe key, move your mouse in the opposite direction and jump. Note the angle we're traveling at after making the jump. Depending on the situation, we can control what kind of move we're making by placing the rocket closer or further away from us and jumping or not jumping. Here we maximize height and distance by placing the rocket close to our feet and following up by accelerating in the air, as you would when strafe jumping. Here's a medium height movement. The rocket's still close to your feet, but without pressing jump. Doing this circle movement without a jump and the rocket further away from your feet, we can get a boost off of the floor with minimal height. This comes in handy to reposition quickly without having to run to a wall for a wall strafe rocket boost. Due to the circle movement, it also starts you off with more speed than if you were to simply walk backwards and shoot a rocket. There's a couple of different ways to use rockets to get more speed while traveling. The most efficient way, of course, is by getting to a wall and shooting a rocket behind you. You can also boost off of the floor. but you have to take the rocket speed of 1000 UPS into account. When traveling under 1000 UPS, you can shoot a rocket straight down or behind you. This way, you can make sure the rocket will be behind you when it hits the floor, not giving you unnecessary height or slowing you down. When shooting straight down, it's best to shoot from the highest point of your jump to give the rocket extra time to get behind you before exploding. When traveling over 1000 units per second, you can start to shoot rockets at the floor in front of you. Since you're going faster than the rocket, it'll be behind you when it hits the ground. The faster you're going, the further down you'll have to shoot to make the distance to the floor shorter. You can of course shoot a bit further ahead if you want it to explode under you for a vertical boost. That's it. These are all the basic techniques. There will be links in the description to the Steam Workshop items for the maps I've used. Good luck practicing and have fun. See ya!